Moving on to the fifth debate for the evening. Sabbatical year should be made mandatory for everyone once every 7 years. To speak for the motion, I invite Prime Minister Emily for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Eddie. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to speak about having a sabbatical year should be made mandatory for everyone once every 7 years. Gone are the days when a career lasts for the rest of your life. Xerox, Bell, Nortel, they employ you for a few years, use you and abuse you just like every other company. So why not take the opportunity to have a legal way to take a break and think about what you want to do next? Because you're not going to stay in that one position for more than 7 years, likely. But even if you are, you get the chance to think about it. What can you do in that year of sabbatical? You can practice your debating skills. You can travel. You can take up a hobby. I don't know if any of you have tried to do a career change while you're working, but you need time and space to think about what it is you want to do and try different things. Often when I'm working on a problem, it's not when I'm thinking about the problem and doing all the analysis. It's when I'm changing my activity that I actually come up with a creative solution to what I'm working on. And finding a career choice is similar situation. So it's, to prove my point, just recently in the Globe and Mail, the CEO of Facebook was talking about how often CEOs are running from meeting to meeting, and so he's learned to space his meetings with 30 to 90-minute intervals in between meetings so that he can think about what he's doing, because often we're running around with chickens, like our chickens with heads cut off, and not actually thinking about the next step. So again, is another way of taking a break is once every 7 years. Taking a break will also make us more interesting people. By trying different things, we get to talk about different things and be more educated in different areas, as opposed to, I went to engineering, so all I can talk, if you want to talk about how pharmaceuticals are made, I will be able to talk your ear off. But of anything much else than that, I'm not very interesting. So, but if I took a break every 7 years and was able to change careers, then I could talk about more things.
Thank you, Emily. Okay. To speak against the motion, I call Gurjot for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen. I think the main thing we have to oppose here, or I want to oppose, is that mandatory and 7 years. So I think I haven't heard why it should be mandatory and why the magical number 7, that it should be mandatory. Because I totally agree, sabbatical is very important and it can be very helpful for many people. So first thing, for mandatory, I think there are a number of reasons it shouldn't be mandatory. Number one, everything mandatory seems too dictatorial, totalitarian, and it's against free will. It can be used against somebody. And number one reason is that if somebody is at the peak of their career and why they are forced to leave for 1 year for a sabbatical. Number two is that if you are like in the corporate politics, that if somebody is at the peak and they can go to the next level, they are forced to take the sabbatical. That's again against the nature of these things are for. And also there might be like the great economy. You can prosper a lot. You can work a lot. You are feeling at the top of your career, and you are again forced to leave and take the sabbatical. That again mandatory part doesn't make any sense at all. That's why it should be mandatory. And second, I don't understand why this magical number 7, why it's not 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the number of reasons that why it is important are not tied to the number of years. Say that you need sabbatical for rejuvenation, that you are bored of working, then why you should wait for 7 years? If you are bored after 2 years or 3 years, and again you can't do anything, like why you can't take a sabbatical after 3 years or 4 years? and then 7 years doesn't make any sense. Second is that if you want to travel world, that's another common thing in sabbaticals, that and you want to do it with your spouse or your friend, then again you are both tied to 7 years. That is a number that you will go there and you need this much money, and also except money and age, there is this number of years you should have in your service. That doesn't make 7 doesn't make any sense. Again, you want to go change your career or training, maybe this is the right time for you. In 7 years things will change so much, you don't know where you want to go. You have made up your mind to do it now, so it should be now or in 2 years. So I think in today's world this doesn't make sense. We are moving even from unlimited vacation time, from 2 or 3 weeks vacation time, that people should be able to go on vacation when they want, how long they want, if they can take care of their work, their projects. The creativity and innovation should be there. It should be day to day, or every month, or every year. It shouldn't be tied to 7 years that you should have these sabbaticals. It should be all the time. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Again, we have Prime Minister Emily for 1 minute.
So I'm going to spend the first 30 seconds just talking about some of the arguments. So mandatory, in a short debate, I can't give proper definitions. So mandatory, maybe we could make it a little flexible, that maybe you can opt out of 7 years and take 2 years and 14 years. We can make it that way. And also, some people need to be told to take a break. I've worked with many people who continue to work, and they think that their job is so important and that they are so important, but they need to be forcibly taken away and then take that break to become more refreshed and more productive at their jobs. The other piece is 7 is a magical number. I don't know how to dispute that. To say other than it's enough time for you to experience your job and understand what to do, and maybe try different positions with the same organization. But also, 7 is a number just for argument's sake.
Thank you. Thanks. So, by show of hands, let us see for the motion. And 7. Oh, 7. Lucky number. Okay. By show of hands, against the motion. 10. Okay. So 7 against 10, the motion is defeated. And about the magical number 7, this comes to mind is 7-year itch, but that's, I think, in the marriage. So I'm not sure about corporations, but yeah, that's where the 7 number came. So thank you. Thanks, Gurjot and Emily.